Good evening. Welcome to this evening's edition of the Rich Urban Show. I am your host, Rich Urban, coming to you from historic Harpers Ferry, West Virginia. Tonight's episode is Who Can Be Trusted on Character, President Trump or Joe Biden? Hunter Biden's legacy of self enrichment. Let's start with the scripture reading from the words of Reverend Sun Myung Moon. God is the creator and the vertical parent of true love. In other words, He is the vertical parent based on true love. Perfected Adam and Eve are the horizontal parents based on true love. These two sets of parents are to unite. Vertical and horizontal are to unite at the place where Adam and Eve make love. That place is the original palace of love, life, and lineage, the male and female organs. In this way, God Himself will give birth to His sons and daughters. They are indeed His children. You are all born from two sets of parents, with the conscience in the reciprocal position to the vertical parent. In view of this, your conscience is the vertical you, and your body the horizontal you. Through what do vertical and horizontal unite? Uniting through true parental love, the Creator's true love, body and mind would never conflict, but rather would harmonize completely. This is from Chen Sung-gyang, 1740, reading of the words of Reverend Sun Myung Moon. We see that during the presidential debate last Thursday, Joe Biden challenged President Trump on character. Let's watch that clip now.
As I said at the beginning, what is on the ballot here is the character of this country: decency, honor, respect, treating people with dignity, making sure that everyone has an even chance. And I'm going to make sure you get that. You haven't been getting it the last 4 years.
So, who can we really trust? Is it Mr. Biden or is it President Trump? So, let's run through some of the news that broke, well, has been breaking really for the last year on Hunter Biden and how he was working for Burisma in Ukraine and making $50,000 a month without any knowledge of the oil or gas industry. It was obvious to anybody that that was only because of the Biden name. And then his dad claimed, oh, he never interfered, he didn't do anything. Of course, he did do something. He bragged on video that he got Viktor Shokin, the prosecutors looking into Burisma in Ukraine, fired. So that was blatantly false. But he's denied, knowing about, Hunter Biden's different dealings. But now that has all been blown up by the so-called laptop from hell. So let's have a look at some of the different articles, and then I'll give my analysis. So this was the original article that came out recently in the New York Post. This is the one that Twitter and Facebook tried to censor. So it must be something good there, right? That's crazy. So here we have Hunter Biden introduced his father, then Vice President Joe Biden, to a top executive at a Ukrainian energy firm less than a year before the elder Biden pressured government officials in Ukraine into firing a prosecutor who was investigating the company, according to emails obtained by the Post. Hunter Biden being on the Burisma board for $50,000. Dear Hunter, thank you for inviting me to DC and giving an opportunity to meet your father and spend some time together. It's realty, an honor, and pleasure. The email reads. Neither anybody, Joe Biden or anybody, has denied the existence of these emails. Although during the debate, Mr. Biden tried to claim it was a Russian collusion. Well, the son apparently had a drug problem and somehow forgot he left his laptop at this shop is what actually happened. So that is too crazy. So that's the initial part of the story. And these are some pictures from the laptop, and there's Mr. Hunter Biden there. Okay, so that's one story. Here in this story from the Washington Times, that Hunter Biden, this is on a story from October 16th. Hunter Biden was receiving a $10 million annual fee from a Chinese billionaire who has been accused of corruption and with whom he sought to increase the cash flow with a joint business ownership. So that's according to an August 2017 email from Mr. Biden. And that money was for introductions alone. So Mr. Biden, that would be Hunter Biden, was basically just making money off his father. And his father obviously was involved because he had that prosecutors looking into Burisma fired. Duh. But now we see even more evidence from the emails that, in fact, an meeting was arranged between then Vice President Biden and Vadim Pozharsky. Mr. Biden says he doesn't remember having a meeting. It's not on schedule, but maybe he did meet. Oops. Dear Hunter, thank you for inviting me to DC and giving me an opportunity to meet your father and spend some time together. It's really an honor and pleasure. The elder Mr. Biden, Joe Biden, not knowing anything about it. So basically, the Bidens were doing the same thing that Hillary Clinton was doing, and Bill Clinton with the Clinton Foundation. They go to countries like Qatar, and then they would, you know, solicit while she was there, an official State Department business solicit, tens of thousands of dollars in donations to Clinton Foundation, 90% of which, look it up, never went to any charities, but just went to salaries and enriching the Clintons and staff. Go figure. Some foundation, any reputable nonprofit will not spend any more than 20% on staff. And for a small nonprofit, that's even high. So we see this web of corruption going on here. And here in this article, they're talking about the big guy who is presumably, very probably, Mr. Biden. Big guy gets 20% stake. Hunter gets 10%. So this is insane, insanely corrupt, insane conflicts of interest. And then this guy Biden has the audacity you saw in that video to say, "Oh, I'm the man of character," and even the audacity to say that, "Oh, the laptop from hell came from the Russians." Yes, the Russians sent a drunk or high Hunter Biden in the shop to drop off his laptop. Give me a break. How stupid do you think people are? Then this article, also from the Washington Times, says how the U.S. has many files on Hunter Biden's money trail. A business associate confirmed on last Thursday, the 22nd, that indeed these were real emails and that Hunter Biden was benefiting from these kind of deals. And in fact, this is the second person to come out. And there were also apparently the U.S. Treasury Department is already investigating Hunter Biden for these, cash receipts of $5 million from Mr. Ye in China, et cetera, et cetera. So we see all these webs, of corruption here. And then also, we see that Hunter Biden's business partner played a key role in meeting between Chinese businessmen and Obama staff. So this is yet another person, Devon Archer, another business partner of Hunter Biden, is saying a high-powered delegation of Chinese communist industrialists was able to gain access to senior Obama White House officials during 2011 U.S. visit thanks to Devon Archer, Hunter Biden's principal business partner. Newly disclosed emails show. So this is yet more emails that this other investigative reporter, Peter Schweitzer, is investigating. So, I mean, you see this, really incredible corruption going on with Hunter Biden and with the enrichment, with using, the family name, with getting meetings at the White House. So, yes, Mr. Biden, sure, we'll judge the character of President Trump and you. President Trump does a lot of good things for charity quietly. You can look at what his sons and daughters are doing. You know, Eric Trump, Donald Trump Jr., Lara Trump. You know, the Ivanka, all of the Trump children. So I mean, you can compare for yourself. So I'd like to conclude. The title is that we're talking about is who can be trusted on character, President Trump or Joe Biden, Hunter Biden's trail of self-enrichment. I think this is pretty self-explanatory, and it's actually completely outrageous that Twitter tried to squelch his story and Facebook. It's ridiculous. It's a legitimate story. It's so lopsided. If anybody can't see the obvious bias, I don't know what they're doing. So, and even furthermore, on this laptop, there were pictures of Hunter Biden having sex with some woman, and even more than that, there are pictures on there of him having, sex, even reportedly, I haven't seen it personally, with little girls, and even worse than that. So just go figure. And of course that can all be used by blackmail against Hunter Biden, against Joe Biden. So to say that constantly haranguing President Trump about Russian collusion, of which there's none, they spent what, $48 million of my money and your money wastefully investigating that, and have been harassing President Trump, not just harassing him, but ever since he was elected, and they talk about, oh, President Trump, will you follow the will of the people in the election? Well, hello, Clinton and the Democrats haven't ever accepted President Trump's victory since day one. They were seeking impeachment. Which we had, the Russia Gate, the impeachment gate, the Ukraine gate, and every other kind of thing. And the real Ukraine gate, of course, is Biden. Even, he's, like I said, on video saying, he'll withhold $1 million of aid if they don't stop investigating, the dealings of Hunter Biden and the company he was on the board, Burisma. So, I mean, it's super clear, what's going on here. And there's so many conflicts of interest with Mr. Biden. He'd be, apart from anything else, and there's plenty else, he's completely compromised. And don't forget the reading that I read about, sexual ethics. Well, we know that Mr. Biden's been accused by 8 different women of, inappropriate touching and things like that. But also, consider that Mr. Biden is for comprehensive sex education. Comprehensive sex education means teaching children sexuality at a very young age, teaching LGBTQ sex, and how do you say that's okay? And in fact, let's end up with this clip from Mr. Biden talking about how it's okay for an 8-year old to decide their own gender.
The idea that an 8-year-old child or a 10-year-old child decides, I decided I want to be transgender. That's what I think I'd like to be. It'll make my life a lot easier. There should be zero discrimination.
So that's a very telling clip. So if you want your children to learn comprehensive sex education and be taught that all kinds of, sexual self-exploration is okay, even from the age of kindergarten, then I guess Mr. Biden's your candidate. Not I guess, he's definitely your candidate. And if you think it's okay for children who are 8 years old to self-identify their gender identity, and generally even the parents are seen as enemies, not to be told about these things by, schools, then, I guess that's your candidate. But I mean, the question is clear on the issue of character, and it does have a lot, if not everything, to do with sexual integrity. So I would say, check these things out for yourself. This is just such a crazy outrage, and the way that most media, most so-called mainstream media, doesn't even cover these articles like about Hunter Biden. I mean, that is crazy. You should turn those off if you're even watching them. So, do make a thoughtful consideration. I'll be doing another video on why President Trump is a clear choice, comparing President Trump and Joseph Biden on the issues. But I did want to get this out. I just think it's completely outrageous, the censorship of the media, and the fact that this story is such a big story. and it's been going on for a long time, but now it's even blown up more. So everybody needs to hear about this. So if you like this, do share it, and do subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, or also subscribe on your favorite podcast channel. So thank you for watching. I am your host, Richard Urban, coming from historic Harper's Ferry. Do be blessed, and we'll see you next time.